Well, it looks like y'all's president. No, let me stop. It looks like President Donald Trump has got us into a warlike situation. Nobody's declared war, and they probably won't. But if y'all remember Vietnam, they never did declare Vietnam war, but we got entrenched in that and lost lives for what? I don't know. But I woke up this morning and I saw this on my TV.
Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolás Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer. All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight.
So the United States, we invaded Venezuela on January 3rd, 2026. But why? So the administration has stated that the goal of capturing President Nicolás Maduro on drug trafficking charges and trying to stem or slow down the flow of drugs into the United States. Other key motivations have been cited by analysts and officials include regime change, control over Venezuelan oil reserves, and reasserting U.S. dominance in the Western Hemisphere. Now, I believe when it comes to the Venezuelan oil reserves, they have the largest oil reserves on the planet. Money, money, money. And reasserting the U.S. dominance in the Western Hemisphere. The primary justification, according to the United States administration, our president and the administration, take it for what it's worth, the administration of President Donald Trump provided several reasons for the military action. He listed drug trafficking and narco terrorism. The U.S. Department had a standing indictment against Maduro from 2020, accusing him of running a corrupt, illegitimate government that conspired with Colombian rebels to flood the U.S. with cocaine. The Trump administration designated two Venezuelan criminal groups, including one allegedly led by Maduro, as foreign terrorist organization, FTOs, which would justify military force in an armed conflict with the cartels. Donald Trump, he wants to change the regime. U.S. officials had long considered Maduro government illegitimate, recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido and later opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez as the rightful presidents and pursued a maximum pressure campaign to oust Maduro from power. Our national security. The United States cited the flow of migrants and drugs, including fentanyl, into the United States as a national security threat that required military intervention. Other major factors and speculated moves. It's believed that Trump, as representative of the United States, y'all voted him in, wants access to the oil reserves, the money. U.S. oil interests were a significant point of discussion after capturing Maduro. President Trump stated the U.S. oil companies will go into Venezuela to get the oil flowing, and that the U.S. would run the country during a transitional period. Geopolitical strategy. Some analysts link the invasion to a reassertion of the 19th century Monroe Doctrine, which was a U.S. foreign policy that opposed foreign intervention in the Western Hemisphere. Intelligence reports also suggested the presence of Russian and Chinese military activity in Venezuela as an existential threat. The politics there in Venezuela. There was escalation, followed a contentious 2024 Venezuela election that the U.S. rejected as fraudulent, and a long history of strained relations between the two countries. The military operation was a dramatic escalation after months of a naval blockade and strikes and alleged drug boats in the Caribbean, conducted without U.S. congressional authorization for a full invasion. Legal experts wildly contested the U.S. claim of self-defense for the invasion, arguing that it lacked legal justification under international law. International law, domestic law, it doesn't matter. Trump could care less about the law. As we see, consider the fact that he's a convicted felon. How many felonies now? 34? I would love to hear what you all think about this. My thoughts are this. Trump has been itching to get into a conflict. War makes money. War makes the rich rich. All right, now it's a loss of life. Lives will be lost of those who are enlisted. But throughout history, government doesn't care about that. Now, the running of the oil, now Trump is claiming national security, the threat of drugs coming in. But according to an article I found in the BBC regarding the whole drug thing, our own U.S. Listen to this. This is from the BBC. Is Venezuela flooding the U.S. with drugs? Counter narcotic experts say Venezuela is a relatively minor player in the global drug trafficking, acting as a transit country through which drugs proceed elsewhere are smuggled. So just like Panama, that's just a transit country. That's one of the countries that Colombia uses to go through to get their drugs. But Venezuela is a relatively minor player in global drug trafficking. Now its neighbor Colombia is the world's largest producer of cocoa, but most of it is thought to enter the United States by what? Other routes like Mexico, not Venezuela. Think about it. Those little boats that they're blowing up, all right, they're running drugs. Do you just think about the drug appetite that we as Americans have? Now, it wouldn't be a drug problem. It wouldn't be a smuggling or a problem with the cartels if we did not use their product. It's supply and demand. So, according to the USDEA report from 2020, almost 3/4 of the cocaine reaching the United States is estimated to be trafficked via the Pacific, with just a small, very small percentage coming via fast boats in the Caribbean. All right. While most of the early strikes the U.S. has carried out were in the Caribbean, more recent ones have focused on the Pacific. Got a cruise coming up in a couple of months. Hope they get this resolved. In September, Trump told U.S. military leaders that the boats targeted are stacked up with bags of white powder that's mostly fentanyl and other drugs too. Fentanyl, y'all know, is a synthetic drug which is 50 times more potent than heroin. Yes. Okay, I'll go out in a minute. Okay, I'll get once I get finished recording. Bye, no worries. Yeah. Now listen to this, y'all. According to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA reports from 2020, almost 3/4 of the cocaine reaching the U.S. is estimated to be trafficked via the Pacific, with just a small percentage coming via fast boats in the Caribbean. Wait, in the Caribbean, they got a cruise coming up. While most of the earlier strikes the U.S. has carried out were in the Caribbean, more recent ones have focused on the Pacific. In September, Trump told U.S. military leaders that the boats targeted are stacked up with bags of white powder that's mostly fentanyl and other drugs too. Fentanyl is a synthetic drug which is 50 times more potent than heroin and has become the main drug responsible for opiate overdose deaths in the United States. On December the 15th, Donald Trump signed an executive order designating fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, arguing that it was closer to chemical weapon than a narcotic. However, fentanyl is produced mainly in Mexico, not Venezuela, and reaches the U.S. almost exclusively via land through its southern border. Now, in 2025, the National Drug Threat Assessment, Venezuela is not mentioned as a country of origin for fentanyl smuggled into the United States by the DEA. So Trump's main reason of national security and also the migrants. He mentioned something about the migrants coming. They open up the prisons and just flood it. But when the oil prices crashed a few years back in Venezuela, many people left seeking a better life, and they wanted to come to America. They did come to America. And a lot of those immigrants are hard workers. Of course, you do have some criminals. But his premise for launching this attack, in my opinion, is flawed. It's flawed. He's always talking about the fentanyl. DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, 2025. drug threat assessment didn't even mention Venezuela. So what's the real reason? What's the real reason why we are risking the lives of our children? And I'm talking about those young men and women that serve in the military. What's the real reason? The oil. Yeah. We're going to run the oil. We're going to run the country and take over the oil. Just another way, in my opinion, for Trump, his family, and the administration to get richer and richer and richer, because you know it's going to be some kickbacks, right? Now, little things like this, they have a way of escalating, right? Now, even though the United States does not recognize Venezuela as Maduro as the leader of Venezuela, you got places like China and Russia that does. I think Russia, I don't think we're going to have an issue with Russia. Trump's been in Russia's back pocket ever since the last administration, so don't have to worry about that. But China. Now, I do understand the Monroe Doctrine. We don't want foreign powers in the Western Hemisphere, in our area. I get that. But really, was this necessary? Are we going to see a difference in the drug usage, consumption after this action is taken? Nah. We learned through the war on drugs that the war on drugs, we lost that. We lost that war big time. We lost that war big time. So we learned that the drugs gonna get here. As long as you got people that's willing to spend their money and buy it, it's gonna get here. So and then the migrants. Nah, man. It's mentioned an incident in Colorado. Come on now. So I just hope this thing does not escalate to even greater situation with other superpowers getting involved. And it's common in American history. I mean, when I say we collectively, America, we take what we want. I mean, starting with the Indian Native American land, right? But it doesn't make it right. And it just doesn't sit well with me. It's no secret. I'm not a fan of Trump. Not at all. Didn't vote for him the first time. Didn't vote for him the second time. And I don't plan on voting for him the third time. Oh, well, no, the Constitution does not allow that. It's only 2 terms. Well, we talking about a dude that don't believe in the letter of the law. We talking about a dude that has a hat on his desk that says Trump 2020, 2029, 2028, whatever the next one is, right? Congress, the Senate, they're not going to do anything. But I think there's hope. People, we have to get out and vote. We got to get out and vote, not only on the presidential elections, but those midterm elections. We got to get some people in the Congress, in the Senate, or House of Representatives, in the House, to stand up against Trump. And a lot of y'all think y'all vote's not important. Y'all think y'all vote's not being heard, but keep on. All right. Oh, they still haven't gotten that food stamp situation solved yet either, right? With those benefits. Anyway, let me hear what y'all think in the comments. Allergies. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's an open space for you to express yourself. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.